The sexual harassment claim alleged by Senator representing Kogi East Central, Natasha Akpoti-Uduaghan, against the President of the Senate, Godswill Akpabio, was presented at the United Nations headquarters in New York on Tuesday. Senator Natasha addressed the Inter-Parliamentary Union, alleging that her 6-month suspension from the Nigerian Senate was a retaliatory one after she filed a sexual harassment complaint against the Senate President. Let's take a look.
5 days ago, on the 6th of March 2025, I was suspended. As a senator, I was suspended illegally because I submitted a petition of sexual harassment against the President of the Nigerian Senate. And for 6 months, I'm not to introduce myself or present myself as a senator locally in Nigeria or internationally. That means I'm here illegally. But I had no other place to go but to come here and speak to you women, because this is a bigger picture. This is a bigger picture. It depicts the crisis of women political representation. My suspension is not just about me. It's about the systemic exclusion of women from political leadership in Nigeria. This is a clear case of political victimization, punishment for speaking out against impunity, corruption, and gender-based violence. The United Nations Declaration 48-104 declares sexual harassment as a form of gender violence. The Senate's actions are an assault on democracy. I was elected by my constituents to represent them, yet a few powerful men have unilaterally decided to silence their voices by suspending me for 6 months. My call for an open and transparent investigation into harassment allegations have been met with hostility instead of accountability. If a female senator can be treated this way in the full view of the world, imagine what ordinary Nigerian women will go through every day in workplaces, in universities, and other aspects of our society.
Well, this video has since gone viral. Well, in response, IPU President Tulia Axin acknowledged Akpoti-Uduaghan's concerns and assured a thorough investigation.
The matter that was raised by our colleague from Nigeria, Senator Natasha, and because all of us heard what she said, and it only serves us better if I put a word in what she has said. So I would like to say we have heard her concerns, and having heard her, it would have been an opportunity for all of us to understand more about what she has said. But because we listened only on her side, as an institution, as IPU, we will be taking the concerns that have been raised, not only taking her side, but also giving a chance to listen to the other side, as it is a custom for IPU. And after having listened to the other side, we will take steps as necessary. So I thought it was necessary for us to say a word about it and then be able to take it further.
Well, it's quite refreshing, Dr. Abati, to hear that there will be fair hearing given to this matter that was presented at the United Nations. But before we discuss, I'd like for us to go through a timeline of the incident that occurred and how it happened. Now, if we could just pull that up. First of all, Senator Natasha was replaced as chairman of local content and made chairman of diaspora committee. Then too, there was a gale of defections at Senate that affected sitting arrangement. And then Senator Natasha refused the change of her seat and refused speaking from a non-assigned seat. 5. Senator Natasha stands on Order 10, right of privileges, to counter the order stipulating she can only speak from an assigned seat. And then the Senate began a process of suspension of seats controversy. After that incident, Senator Natasha grants Arise an interview and alleged sexual harassment that happened here on Arise TV. And after that, we saw that Akpabio's wife filed a defamation suit against Senator Natasha. That went viral as well. And then Natasha files the suit, restraining the Ethics Committee from investigating her. And then Senator Natasha submitted a petition for sexual harassment at the Senate. That sexual harassment petition was rejected because it was signed by her. Natasha subsequently resubmitted an amended sexual harassment claim, which was accepted at the floor of the Senate. And after that incident, Senator Natasha was suspended by the Senate for misconduct, actually that same day, when she resubmitted her sexual harassment claim. And then Senator Natasha reports the sexual harassment to the IPU, which we have just played, and we have just seen that the IPU is ready to give fair hearing on Senator Natasha's sexual harassment claim and hear from Nigerian Senate and Senator Akpabio. Now, Dr. Abati, this is obviously has been in the news for, several weeks now, almost 2 weeks. And I'd like for you to help us understand what this matter, what is the consequence of this matter now that it's been presented in the global stage?
Okay, let me just deal with some relevant aspects of it, not the chronicle. Number one, the Interparliamentary Union, to which Senator Natasha Akpoti-Uduaghan has now presented her case, was founded in 1889. It has 180 members. It has its headquarters in Geneva, Switzerland. It was a forum that was initially created as a platform for promoting interparliamentary union, as it says, and promoting democratic governance and sustainable development. It was only in 2002 that it was given an observer status by the United Nations, and it became like, a wing of the United Nations in terms of, monitoring some of those issues that are important to the United Nations. However, the Interparliamentary Union is just a place where, members share experiences, either as individual members or as members of an organized parliament from any part of the world. In other words, some critics will say it's a talk shop. It passes resolutions, but those resolutions are not necessarily binding. But it has a voice. If it issues a statement and it says we have passed this resolution on this particular matter in terms of the experiences that we have shared. What Senator Akpoti has done is to go to the Women's Parliament in the US to say, this is the case that I'm presenting. One part that was not shown was that she started by apologizing to Honorable Kafila Ogbara, yes, representing Kushofe Federal Constituency, who is chairman of the House Committee on Women Affairs, that she was not there to embarrass Nigeria, but just to seek help from the International Parliamentary Union. What help can that IPU offer? Well, somebody suggested that maybe Akpabio should come there and present his own case. He's not under any obligation to go there and present any story, because the IPU is not a court of law. It's not an adjudicatory body. So that's out of it. Number two, Senator Akpoti said not to embarrass Nigeria, but by taking that matter to that open forum, Nigeria will be embarrassed if people choose in that platform to deal with the details of it. Nigeria will definitely look bad. But I think the point that has been made that they would like to hear the other side is the basic principle. When there is an accusation, that before you pass judgment, you must hear from the other side. So Akpabio is at liberty also, perhaps, to write the IPU to say these are the facts of the matter. One of the issues raised has to be about a chairmanship of the local content committee. Now, I've seen some comments there saying that, Senator Natasha Akpoti was guilty of padding budget. Now, that's another dimension that has come up. So this endless back and forth about issues in the Senate and in the House of Reps, what Nigerians are just asking for is that the Constitution of Nigeria is very clear in Section 4. That lawmakers will just focus on making laws for good governance, for order and stability. But what we find most of the time in the Senate and in the House of Reps are distractions. And now, even when this is escalated, the distractions get bigger. But I think that on the other issues that you have raised, we have already expended a lot of saliva
on that.
Provided pro bono, because sometimes when I use my saliva, you pay for it. But we have expended saliva pro bono on this particular matter, and we are saying that we should focus on serious issues, because that is what will benefit all parties concerned in this matter. All those other issues about sexual harassment, rules of the Senate and all that, the relevant bodies should look at those issues. They should look at those issues. Those are the things, if we're not forgetful, these are the things we have said on this platform. But the purpose of the legislature should be served.
Again, well-rounded conversation. Thank you, Dr. Abati, for your submission. Like we have all agreed on this table, sexual harassment is a serious issue. And that's why the story continues to unfold.